Welcome, everybody, to another episode of The Wi-Fi is Out with your two hosts, Eros
and Double T.
Today, I have some extremely exciting news about a couple video games. So first off, we have Final Fantasy XIV has recently updated their teasers and released a trailer for their newest expansion, Dawntrail, which is coming out in the summertime-ish. We don't have an exact month or day yet. But it's going to be their, I'm assuming, last expansion. I don't think we'll get more after, but we also don't have any true information on, to confirm that or not. I just think it's their last one because with this expansion, they're going to be releasing it seems at least like a wrap-up to the story, as well as increasing the level cap from 90, which came in Endwalker, to 100. And usually around 100, in my opinion, is when a lot of games are kind of like, okay, level 100, you're done. That's it. We're going to be getting some really, really interesting updates. So one of the updates that isn't quite as exciting, but I'm still stoked for just because it's been needing updates, is the Gold Saucer, which is essentially like the casino of Final Fantasy XIV. So you can go there with some friends.
Gambling.
Right? I was stoked. We haven't had anything super new there or any updates. We haven't had changes to gameplay mechanics or machines in, a long time. So for them giving us some updates there, it'll bring the life back to it. Because I went there the other night and there was, nobody on. So the Gold Saucer was empty, which I've almost never seen when Endwalker first came out. We're also getting the introduction of the female Hrothgar, which I'm stoked for. Originally, I thought we were getting female Hrothgar and male Viera, which male Viera is like a bunny people. But I guess we've had them in Endwalker before. I didn't know. So apparently that's not new. But female Hrothgar is, which is essentially kind of like a tiger people, is the best way I can put it. Still stoked, though. People have been wanting this female Hrothgar for multiple expansions worth of time. So I'm pretty stoked for that. I don't think I'm going to change my character to that race. I think it's going to be cool, but there's going to be so many floating around. I like my character the way it is.
So this is the game that you want me to play the free demo?
Yes. So that is another thing I'll touch on. Xbox is getting Final Fantasy XIV is finally coming to Xbox. It's been on PlayStation 4 and PC forever. But now Xbox and Microsoft is essentially getting it fully. And they're updating their free trial, essentially. So there'll be a beta test for to see how well it runs on Xbox, since they have to port it over and stuff. And that'll be available. And with this beta test, they're increasing the free trial to allow for anyone who plays the game to play the game for free and not have to buy the expansions for the first 2 expansions, which allows you to play up to level 70 on your characters. There is some limitations for free trial players, you can't join parties, but you can be invited. You can't join free companies, which is their version of guilds. You can't even be invited to those. Those are off the table until you pay for the game. You can't private message people. But if people want to talk to you, there's other ways to get around that, like joining a link shell, which is their version of private messaging outside of just whispering to people.
Yes, just too bad we're not going to have too much time to play it, though. We got to get back into Diablo Season 3.
Well, actually, Diablo Season 3 comes out on the 23rd of January. Final Fantasy XIV won't happen until probably it's coming out mid-spring.
Oh, then Season 4. We're going to be too busy, man.
I think genuinely we won't play Season 4. I'm pretty sure. If Season 3 is what I think it's going to be, because we've heard some stuff, then Season 4 is going to be trash.
Oh.
But Final Fantasy XIV's there for you, and you can play up to level 70, which is a lot of content for free.
You do know I need time to play other video games, man.
No.
You're taking all my time with these MMOs.
No, you have to play MMOs. They're better. They're better than video games. But so that's kind of the basic knowledge I have for the beta testing for Xbox. It should have crossplay because you can't play an MMO without including the other members of the community, and a big portion of playing Final Fantasy XIV is loading in and just seeing everyone everywhere. Like, every city is just alive with, like, a flood of people just doing whatever. And then, on top of that, though, to go back to the Dawntrail expansion, we're getting not 2 classes, but 3, actually. So they have confirmed the 3rd class, which I didn't think... I thought it was fake. I thought people were making it up. But, so our first class is going to be Viper, which is going to be a 2-handed, like, short sword wielder class. That seems to be kind of a pairing to Ninja, which is their 2-handed, like, kind of assassin rogue dagger class. And it's going to, at least from the video, their teasers on it, it seems like it's going to focus a lot on dual-wielding combat, a lot of, like, avoidance techniques, but then it seems like you're going to essentially be charging some sort of bar or passive, and when that's charged, you'll essentially Darth Maul the swords into each other to turn into just a 2-handed dual sword, like Darth Maul's lightsaber, and go into, like, kind of like a berserk rage, where you're doing extra damage, getting a lot faster attack speed, and more movement, which will be nice. I think it'll be good. It's going to be a new melee DPS class. The second class that I'm surprised is not a limited job is going to be Pictomancer, their new caster class. It seems like it's essentially just a painter. Like, that's what the whole trailer was you painting and creating, like, just creatures or artwork damage, you know? Kind of the best way I can describe it. But it looks good. Unfortunately, with the introduction of these 2 classes specifically, because they're both DPS classes, I'm probably going to be switching to tank or healer full-time for all of my daily queues, because you are almost never going to be able to get a DPS queue. Because they did the same thing last expansion. We got the DPS Reaper and then the healer Sage classes, and queuing for a DPS class for your daily duties took like 30 minutes plus for like everything across the board, because everyone wanted to play the new class. Healers still took long, but not quite as long, just because nobody likes playing healer. Well, not nobody, but there's a lot more of the community that prefers to play a DPS than a healer.
You just gotta make her an angelic god from above.
I actually have my skin for my healers. It's the healing chocobo. So it's a giant stuffed chocobo head, and then and I've dyed that like a nice golden yellow. And then the rest of the outfit is kind of like this angelic, like, yellow dress that I've done. So I'm the healing chocobo when I heal people. It's stupid, it's gimmicky, but it makes people laugh in the community, so gives me a little joy there. But yeah, so I'll be switching to probably healer or tank once those come out. I'm still going to play those, I just won't be, like, duty ruling my stuff to get them, like, higher level super fast, which is unfortunate, But that leads to the last class, which is going to be the second ever in Final Fantasy XIV limited job. Limited job is essentially going to be this class, and then we have Blue Mage. And what that means, essentially, is that you can't get them to max level. They have a lower level cap. And that's just because the way they design the jobs is they make them really overpowered. Once you get Blue Mage to level 70, I believe it's level 70, maybe it's level 80, currently with the release of people going up to level 90. I haven't played the class a whole lot. You can do a lot of the content completely solo because of how strong they are. But the class we're getting is Beastmaster.
Oh.
What do you mean, oh?
It's like I like those classes, so just knowing that they're limited.
You can still play them, so no. I'll explain what Beastmaster is, and then I'll explain how you could use them so you still could play them when you try the trial.
Not interested anymore.
Okay, fine. Don't play the game. But,
yeah, I'm gonna play, what was it, the Tech Master?
Machinist. Machinist, I think, will be up your alley. I think the only healer you'll like is probably going to be Sage. If
I want a bunch of poppies on the board.
But, so Beastmaster, the information we've been given is it's going to be a one-handed axe and shield wielding class that essentially you do what it says. You tame beasts that you can then use in combat. And what I think that means is how Blue Mage works is when you fight an enemy that has a specific skill that you're trying to unlock, you have to watch it use the skill, then you defeat it, and you have a chance to learn that skill. So sometimes it can take you 2 or 3 kills to get the skill. Other times you can do it one time and you get the skill right away. There are ways to guarantee skills, but it's, you have to do a little bit of learning. So I'm assuming for Beastmaster, you have a set of beasts that you'll be able to unlock over time, and you have to go track the beast down and find probably a special version depending on which beast. Maybe dragons, you have to find a special certain dragon to do it. But I'm assuming you basically have to fight it solo, and then once it gets low enough health, you perform some sort of secondary action to tame it, and then it becomes a beast that you can summon to fight stuff. That's the only thing I can think of because we don't have a trailer for that to kind of showcase what it does. But so for limited jobs, if you're in a party like we will be, we have 4 total people, so we can do 4-person dungeons. With Beastmaster and Blue Mage, you have to do those dungeons unsynced, which means that you essentially remove the level cap. Because if you do a level 10 dungeon, normally, everyone goes down to level 10. You keep all your gear, but your stats are just lowered to be, consistent with the dungeon. So you don't have a level 100 or a level 90 coming in and just one-shotting everything. But if you do it unsynced, then someone who's level 90 will be level 90 with their level 90 stats. But then you can bring in Blue Mages and Beastmasters because it's an unsynced dungeon. That'll be the only way that you'll really be able to do that with a party. Otherwise, you'll probably just be doing the same thing Blue Mages have done for the last forever. And you just get a group of Blue Mages together and do an unsynced dungeon or raid. Get your stuff and move on. Overall, it's going to be pretty good. Unfortunately, we're waiting until the summer of 2024, so spring is going to be the Xbox release, and summer is going to be the expansion release, which will unfortunately take a little bit, but I'm excited. I'm going to play it. I'm getting the Dawntrail expansion. I've gotten every other expansion, and they've always been good. But with that, we'll be moving on.
Well, this noob has been sticking to video games. I've been getting into some board games lately.
Oh, that's right, yeah. And it's actually, even me, I'm not a huge board game person, but these are actually really fun.
And less than 2 months,
Less than a month.
Month and a half.
Okay, real quick to interject. I believe that he started collecting these last month around the 20th of December. And it is not the 20th of January. And he's gotten all of them. So I think it's less than a month.
It's 15 expansions or something. The Villainous board game, where you get to play as villains from classic Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars movies.
Yeah, I'd say we've played a couple handfuls of different villains between the two of us.
Yeah. Quick update. Just found out they're going to release a 2-pack called Sugar and Spite that has King Candy and Shere Khan from the Jungle Book.
Shere Khan.
And then a single pack for Star Wars. I think it's Darth Maul. It's one of the only last big ones.
I mean, Pete, you're still probably going to get it and they're going to be fun. We've played quite a few, and it's been a good game. There's been certain characters that I haven't preferred over others, but that's any board game.
Just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah. But on to the next video game. We have a new release that, when it first came out and it had its teaser trailer, I didn't think it was going to be a real game. I thought Pokemon, Game Freak, was going to step in and shut it down. But it turns out they didn't. And it's coming out the 19th of this month. Or 19th of January. We're getting early access.
Temtem's coming back?
No, not Temtem. Surprisingly, that game, unfortunately, it's still going, but it's pretty dead. You don't see anything.
Oh, the Pokemon killer is dead? Oh,
yeah, wow. I'm a little sad about that. But we're getting Palworld, which is an interesting game. It's made by by Pocket Pair, which is the same company that made Craftopia, and Craftopia has had a lot of like good reviews and like a big community that likes the game. So we can at least expect that Palworld's not going to be a ripoff. So it'll still be a game. It's going to be early access, so I'm assuming it's probably going to be a little rough. So since they've made Craftopia and it has good reviews, I'm still assuming, like I said before, that it's going to be a game. I think it'll be playable. I don't think it's going to be a ripoff or anything because they do have that game, which is working out pretty good and it's been around for a while. So it's a survival game, actually. It is, when I say Palworld, it resembles Pokemon in the sense that you collect monsters that may or may not go in your pocket.
It's essentially what we all want Pokemon to be, besides the violence and guns.
Yeah. You're going to get guns. You're going to be able to create factories and have your pals, quote-unquote, work in the factories and defend the factories. But aside from, like, kind of there's, like, crime and stuff, aside from that portion of it where it's more, like, adulty, I mean, the normal part of the game is just you catch your pals, you can ride some of them, and then you can, like, breed them and create fusions. So you can actually, in this game, unlike Pokemon, combine two species together to make a whole new species.
What are you talking about? That's Pokemon's next gimmick.
I highly doubt. Everyone would love for it. There's so many mods around making Pokemon fusions. And I just highly doubt Pokemon's going to give in and do that. But Palworld will let you. I'm stoked. I'm going to play it because I think it's cool. Like, there's dungeons. And then with these dungeon stuff, like, you can have a multiplayer of up to 8 people, apparently. Is what a lot of the sites are saying about the game that they've released. So it'll be kind of Minecraft-esque, where you still have the violence, but then you just have the normal building and exploring aspects. So, it's a give and take. I think it'll be a good game. Other than that information, there's not really a whole lot out about it. There's some leaks of some of the mon. Like, you have, at least from the name that we could see, we believe that it's Dig Toys, which I think is funny. So it's a digging and surfing Pokemon, which, may or not be a resemblance of, Diglett and Blastoise, but so we've got a few leaks.
I'm not a fan of games that just entirely rip off Pokemon.
You're never a fan of anything that can compete with Pokemon?
No, it's not compete. It's like Tim is a better Pokemon killer than I think this game will be.
The difference is Temtem was literally one-to-one Pokemon. Like, you had the battles, you had the gym battles, you had the exploring, you had where it was an enclosed map. This, however, is going to be more resemblant of, in my opinion, Minecraft Pocket Monsters, that whole mod that you can download.
Talking more about Dig Toys, because you literally just said it might be a ripoff of...
Yeah, it might be. It looks completely... When you look at the art, it's completely different, but the name is a resemblance.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I thought
to be
you were
fair,
literally saying, like, Dugtrio and Blastoise.
No. So to clarify that, at least, Dig Toys, when you see the artwork, does not look anything like Blastoise or Diglett.
Oh, then my point's been retracted.
Yeah, it slightly resembled Croconaut in the sense that it's a 4-legged turtle.
Oh, no, that's fine if it kind of resembles. So I thought you just meant...
Oh, yeah, no, sorry, I should have clarified that. So, yeah, these Pokemon may have names that are resemblance of Pokemon. I mean,
that's just going to be...
But they do look different. They have their own unique stuff.
That's just going to be what it is. Like,
yeah. I mean, there's only so many artwork creations that you can do.
Like, if you look at the first Star Wars movie and Harry Potter, the story kind of lines up the same.
Yeah.
It's how stuff is going to be.
But what I'm excited for is unlike Pokemon, since this game is made by kind of their own company and it's an early access game, they can do the same thing that other early access games have done, where they just keep it in early access infinitely, which means that they can just update the game and add stuff whenever they want. So that way when people in the community are like, hey, we want this, instead of having to go and get a patch verified through everything and doing all these, like, jumping through all these hoops to get one little thing done, they can just throw it in, and then if people like it, awesome, and if they don't, they just pull it right back out without having to jump through the same hoops.
Yeah,
but
I think that's the best way to make a Pokemon killer.
Yeah.
Like,
and the cool...
do you know...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Do you know this creator called A-Drive?
Yeah, I know of him.
He's making his own card... He's making his own card game.
I saw that.
And it's when you build it with your community, that's when people are more invested.
Yeah.
Than like, hey, here's a flamingo Pokemon.
Yeah, called Flamigo. We're just missing one letter. But what I'm hoping for is, since this game's coming out from such a small company that's allowing updates freely by doing early access instead of releasing a $60 game, because it's supposed to be in the price range of $20 to $40. We don't know specifically yet, but that's kind of the price range that people are estimating. My assumption is that people will create mods for it that just are their own versions of pals that you can download into the game. And then with these mods, there's the potential that the actual developers of the game can be like, hey, we really like your mod. Can we make this an official thing so people don't have to download it from a third-party thing? And they can just add stuff.
I just wish companies would do that so much more.
Same, which is why I'm hoping this game does it. Even if this game isn't technically Pokemon, it'll still have aspects of Pokemon, and then also have the freedom for people who create these insane designs. Like, I create a whole new map of the area and modded it, and now it's a mod that you can download. And the people in Palworld could just reach out to them and be like, hey, we really love this mod. Can we purchase the idea from you so we can put it in the game for people to play, and then we'll give you some, like, credit by putting in, like, a statue of you or something. I don't know. Or a statue of your character, your favorite mod, with your username. Like, just something like that. I don't think they'll go that far, but they have the freedom to just bring their community stuff and be like, hey, we like this. You did an awesome job. Can we also potentially use a portion of this or the whole thing with your permission? And then have that sort of access, to the rest of the community and give them all a little bit of freedom.
You got a buzzer too, man.
Yeah, gosh. But something you're going to like is there is some anomalies with the pals that can cause them to be a different color.
Nope. I'm out. I can't.
There are shinies in this game.
I can't. Do you know I only played the Harry Potter game like so long, but you want to know the one thing I made sure I did?
Get all the
I got
variants.
all the shinies.
Yep. There's shinies in this game as well. There's also, since there's dungeons, I'm assuming there's raid bosses. We did get a couple. Like one of the mons, kind of a spoiler, so if you don't want to hear this name, just skip forward a little bit. But there's going to be a pal called Anubis who's going to be like a raid boss, essentially. And he looks really dope, and he comes with his own title. And he's going to be bigger than other mons, it seems. I don't know if he'll still be bigger once you get him, but at least during the fight, he's supposedly going to have like a bigger appearance. To kind of, But so that mod will be in the game, but there's going to be others like that where they have their own titles, and they're going to be harder to find, harder to fight. And then with that, supposedly you'll have up to 8 players in one thing, like I said before. So you'll be able to go in with you and supposedly 7 other friends without having to have a server, because servers apparently can go up to like 32 people. But then I think you might have to pay for that, or you have to have your game open while other people are playing, and then if they get on but you're not on, it's the whole thing. Just like Ark, essentially, I'm assuming. But you and 7 other friends just going in and being able to do battles together, or create factories together, or catch Pokemon together. And with this way, if you're not online, they can still get on and progress. So if you have like 3 people that want to get on, but then the other 5 aren't, those 3 can still get on and go do whatever they want with everything that's on the server. And relax and chill. I'm assuming that because it was only an 8-person kind of like friend online thing, you could probably invite random people, but they'll hopefully allow some way so that if you do have random people, they can't just mess with your stuff while you're offline. Of some sort of like offline protection, which would be nice. And then if you get caught using these guns on pals or poaching pals when you know you're not supposed to, they have like an actual, it seems kind of like a GTA sort of legality thing where you'll get like a bounty on your head that increases the more you get caught. But this only happens if like NPCs see you, which leads me to believe that there's going to be NPCs that roam just around the forest and stuff and around towns and have their own jobs that you have to like deal with. So I think it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be interesting. I don't know if it'll be as good as we expect right off the bat, but it has a lot of potential. But that's all I have for that. I'm going to play it. I'm going to try to get Double T to play it. I'm sure he's going to be like, no, I don't want to. And then I'm going to get the first shot. He's going to be like,
It's this or Baldur's Gate. You got to decide.
You have to play both, man. You have Baldur's Gate 3 to play, Palworld to play, Diablo
Tears
Season
of the Kingdom
3,
to play,
Tears of
God
the Kingdom,
War.
God of War, Ragnarok.
Like, I tried.
Final Fantasy 14. You just gotta balance your life better, man. I don't know what I've already beaten all these games. Well, maybe not God of War or, Tears of the Kingdom. I just watch a gameplay of that. You have the next Pokemon Gen 10 coming out probably next year.
Well, maybe if we didn't record or something during the weekend, maybe I could focus on something.
Maybe if we didn't record or something on the weekends, you could play your games. I will remember that. You all heard this firsthand. You all heard this. That's all I've got. That's all the new information for at least the stuff that I'm interested in. And now you've got Double T's newest hobby, which is pretty dope. This is a good game.
I'm going to buy more games.
Oh, yeah. He's already looking up like 2 or 3 more different games.
But that's it. That's it for now. No other games have piqued my interest.
That's what he says. Give him a week. Give him until next week, guys. I'm sure we'll hear something. And with that, goodbye.